Well, hello, I'm Flowy. I'm from Germany, and I'm usually just doing K-pop reactions in the Anglosphere kind of. I also got a tiny German political commentary channel, which is what I do usually, and I love what I do. So this is new to me, like talking to y'all in an English format kind of. And I just wanted to talk to you about my feelings about the whole Charlie Kirk situation and how I just perceive this whole situation, because it is also pretty nuts over here. I've seen your social media, your TikTok, your X, anything, how the leftists were just tearing their mouths apart about this whole situation. And for me, this makes and just shows me a complete new quality to the insanity. Also for the people here in Germany. So I just wanted to show you my perspective from the German political side as a center-right guy that is doing this stuff here and how I perceive the whole situation. Because if you think leftists on your side are crazy, our German leftists are too. And for all of you that are up here and just tell me now, well, it's not about left, right, whatever, yada yada, I get it. I don't want to make it the left versus right thing, but I'm starting to see some patterns. I don't want to call them all demons and stuff that needs God or something. But I see that people kind of get angrier, bitter, and more evil each second. And this just brings up some very bad thoughts inside of me. And I just fear that those people will just take this situation to prove they can do what they can do and to maybe start to shoot another person soon. Because I've seen all of those comments also on X and I might just show them up here, where people say, well, J.K. Rowling next, Matt Walsh next, Ben Shapiro next, Donald Trump next, and, as if they didn't try Donald Trump before, but yeah. But what I wanted to say and what I just want to cover here is the whole situation with German and German media and how they talk about that. Because what was weird to me was the quality with how fast leftists had their whole graphs and graphics and were throwing them around, and also their whole lists of quotes Charlie Kirk should have said, with which he never did because they were all false claims and very shortened. So therefore, they really brought a propaganda wave of fake news, direct fake news, and tried to smear his whole legacy, which I think is absolutely not cool. And for a person that is all about justice and has very high moral standards, in my opinion, this is crazy. What made me also being more invested in this whole situation was I was like looking up Twitter because my boyfriend, because yes, I'm also gay and I can think straight. What is going on? He said, you know what? Do you know Charlie Kirk? And I was like, yeah, I know Charlie Kirk. He was like, they just shot him. And I was like, what? And immediately there was some kind of spirit going through me, and I needed to go to Twitter to just watch everything. And it was like 10 minutes after he got shot, and I seen those pictures. It made me so emotional. It was crazy to me because I think I'm very invested in all of the politics stuffs kind of, and I perceive many of the things the way they are right now. But this was different because this was a complete new quality. I knew he was a critical debater. I knew he was talking to students. I knew he was a kind soul in a way, even if he had his opinions. You don't need to agree to, but he had those opinions and he could argue them. But I thought immediately the leftists come now up on Twitter and on TikTok and say, well, I don't like that. I will never kill somebody, and it's embarrassing to be a leftist right now. They shot him, and this shooter is not one of us. However, it was, as I just said, contrary to what I thought, a complete opposite. Like, they really came up and tried to justify it. They tried to justify it. They didn't apologize. They were like, hey, let's celebrate this. He got shot. This is so funny. Ha ha ha. And this made me so sad. And I was so upset in this situation just right after he got shot. Like a few minutes after that, some people were posting TikToks and I just needed to just get my energy out there. And I was like doing a video in Germany about this, which I got hate for by leftists. There was a leftist streamer in Germany, a tiny one, that was just pretty eager about following me and trying to she's really obsessed with me. And she was laughing about it. She was like, well, it's another fascist that died, right? And she was swearing at me. She was saying to me that I need to F myself and that Charlie Kirk was just another fascist that just deserved it and stuff like that. And this made me so upset and said, actually, I tried to argue with her about that, and she was, yeah, she was just bad and was showing the worst mannerisms right now. And therefore, this showed me you can't talk to these people anymore. And I'm super sad about it because, as I just said, I don't want to make it a conquer and divide game, kind of like lefts are the evils and we are the goods, and we also have our crazies on our side. As JD Vance just recently said in the live video he brought up on Charlie Kirk's channel. But there's a difference to the crazies. Our crazies are like, yeah, going on rallies and talking about flat earth and stuff like that. Their crazies kill people, you know? And as I just said, they came up with the Hoffman and Hortman kind of situation where the Democrats got shot in Minnesota and stuff. But if you read deeper into the story, it was in the registry the last time about like I think 2004 or something. I really digged into the story, and if you read deeper into that, he really had financial problems, all of that. With it's a completely horrible story. If I knew that before, I would have also said, well, it's a problem, you know, for sure. But the Hoffmans here didn't die in front of a camera and hadn't had a million following, you know, and they weren't constantly in debate with right wingers or something like that, which made it a complete other quality. I just want to say that it's also horrible, as I just said, but yeah, you can't just compare these both situations, you know? And furthermore, the shooter that killed Charlie Kirk was an Antifa shooter that was in several Antifa Discord servers, and we know the story. There's a lot of information there, and he had a trans roommate, and all of that seemed to have radicalized him. Also, the university he was on, you know? All of that is just so saddened, and I don't really know how you can just come up and say, you can't pray for Charlie Kirk. You can't do that. You're a bad person if you do that. Come up and compare these both situations that had actually nothing to do with each other. Guilt trip them into believing it is bad to send your prayers out for Charlie Kirk because he said some horrible things. If you really look into them, many of them were completely reasonable, you know, from his perspective. And because nobody was talking about the Hoffmans or Hortman or however, you know. And guys, if you really want to make a comparison and talk about hypocrisy, what is with the case of Tony Timpa you all didn't care about? He died by the same circumstances as George Floyd. And you didn't care at all. Maybe it was because he was white? I don't know. And if you want me to talk about the Hoffmans first, why you don't burn down cities first for Tony Timpa? Because you did it for Floyd. Like, they had a complete rule set of what they do right now and what they want to do and what they want to argue to just manipulate you morally. And this is the point where I think this has a completely new quality. They immediately had all the graphics, they immediately had all the weird data, they immediately had all the cut clips and of him, and tried to use that to just smear him directly after he got shot and after he died. But also our German leftists just jumped on the bandwagon. They also used that kind of data, those false quote lists, you know, and anything else, and try to argue with that and use that to argue against German right-wingers that just stood in solidarity for Charlie Kirk and just, yeah, prayed for him, you know? And this is just mind-boggling to me. But it gets crazier. Let us just come to the media complex in here, which is much more crazier. Because you might think our media should argue about the situation and just look into it, look up the data, look up what's really done, what's really there, and just, yeah, use the powers of journalism to find and gather all the information they need to just debunk the whole false claims that have been made about Charlie Kirk and all the quotes he've never said, you know. But in fact, they did the opposite. The complete other way around, you know, which is crazy to me. But to just give you a bigger picture, we have a big, very big corporate media platform. This is like the round wave. It's like ÖRR, öffentlich-rechtlicher Rundfunk in Germany. And der öffentlich-rechtliche Rundfunk, like, it means something like open source round wave or something. They've been paid by us, forced, with 80 euros a month. It's about like $23 or $24, you know. We are forced to pay this by the German law. And they, which is a big conglomerate kind of like several channels, TV channels, outlets, and radio stations. Anyway, but they got a lot of cash. And I don't know really why, but they ain't get their shit together. Like, you open up as a normal citizen in Germany, like Twitter or X or any social media, and you got the proper information you need. You know, you just need to dig a bit deeper and do a bit of research about certain stuff, but you get the information. And they, no, They ain't get it together. And this is the weirdest thing about it. They even took in, when we already had the information we need, they took in their foreign reporters, their foreign experts, like Elmer Tivison, to just give all information about what's been happening in the US about the last 3 or 4 days, to just, get a glimpse of what's going on with the Charlie Kirk situation. And you know what he said? You know what he said? Do you want to hear it? Listen. He got very sharp right-wing tendencies. I give you a few examples. He said that homosexuals must be stoned. He said that women need to submit to their husbands. He said that black people take the position of whites just because of the politics of the Democrats. He said you need to be afraid on a plane as a passenger with a black pilot. I mean, at this point, we all already knew these were false claims. That he just came in with that. This doesn't happen on purpose. I'm sorry, but no. Because you need to know that the ÖRR, the öffentlich-rechtliche Rundfunk, has a big history with sad situations, with getting information completely wrong, or even having a weird bias towards left-wing, left reporters, Antifa, and. They also have a big bias against the AfD and really try to push everything to make them look bad, or even kind of create fake scenarios about the tiniest things to just report anything bad on them. And even if they take AfD politicians in, they try to make a 4 versus 1 kind of discussion thing up. Or if it's like a show where AfD politicians talk to, citizens or something, right, because they had something, they pick several of those citizens out of a group, and when you research about the background of said citizens, it always comes up that it's like left-wing party workers or left-wing or green activists or something like that, and people that are affiliated with any left-wing, you name it. So that's why I can't really believe there isn't kind of a agenda behind the weird push. And this was not the only thing to just get a perspective of what right-center people are going through here in Germany, also with the whole reporting here. It gets worse because Dunja Hayali, which is also a more left-leaning öffentlich-rechtlicher Rundfunk worker there and reporter and journalist, she just said that here. It is unjustifiable that there are groups out there right now that are celebrating his death, even if he said some horrific, sexist, homophobic, racist, and misanthropic things. But this radical religious conspiracy fanatic had many fans worldwide and on several platforms. He touched the hearts of many, and people were floating his events. Well, and she got a shitstorm afterwards. She was on a podcast then and was saying how she has no empathy with him. You can, even if you don't like him or don't like his politics or can't feel empathy with him, just shut up. Which is true in a sense, but out of her mouth, it's just like a debriefing for all of her leftist activists out there that are following her on Twitter, or on Blue Sky. And I think you will finally get a gist of what has been going on the last days. And this year is fresh from yesterday, where they took in the leader of the left-wing party in Germany, the leader of the left-wing party, the left, the radical left. They took her in for an interview to just, talk with her and discuss the future of Germany and all of the things that she would do. And she was also asked about Charlie Kirk, and she said that. And we also wanted to talk a bit about what happened in the US just this week. The ultra-right Trump supporter and activist Charlie Kirk got shot. Right afterwards, your personal party speaker posted a meme, and this meme said something like, "Oh no," and then anyway, he deleted it right afterwards with the justification that right-wing people just set it into false context. What do you say about that? And was he giving an actual explanation to you? He made it in context to a school massacre that was happened at the same time, and yes, it was a bit cynical, but it was quite on point. Because people were ignoring the school massacre, but were talking about Charlie Kirk, and I think it's pretty right that you called him an ultra-right, because that was what he was. He was a white supremacist. He was completely against self-ID, he said he would force his daughter to deliver the baby if she got raped, and he was completely racist. He said so many extreme things. Sure, you don't need to celebrate somebody's death, but you also don't need to have mercy with a person like that. So this meme was because of the hypocrisy with the school shootings, and I say rightfully so. And also, why do we even have to have mercy with a right-wing extremist? Since when? And I think it's just pretty irritating when the Young Union comes up with its prayers in a post like that. Yeah, but he got murdered. Yeah, by another Republican. But don't you think we can have some mercy with him? Why should I have mercy with a person like that? It's not like he was a normal conservative. He was a pretty problematic person. But anyway, in the end, you need to know if you want to give a person like that the spotlight. So, I mean, this is not true. And I'm sorry, but how can Miazga here, which is the host of the show, not dig deeper into what she just said and to question it or something? This is really weird to me because at this point, yesterday, really everyone, like literally everyone, had the data. They just made an official left-wing shooter a right-wing extremist without questioning it. So as sad as it is, there were also videos of, some reporters walking on the streets asking people about Charlie Kirk and what they think of the shooting. And they say, well, it's fine, it's okay, because he was a bad man, right? Because of a state-funded media here, of our taxpayers kind of funded media, not reporting straight, not just getting the facts straight here. And I'm just done with all of that. And to just send you a little poll here, so you understand what I mean is the problem with all of that. The conservative mid-leaning media, more a center media here called Welt, just did a poll and asked many of their journalists and hosts and whatever, reporters, about their political opinion and how they vote. I mean, just look at it. They all vote Green, SPD, left, which is actually all the left parties we have here in Germany, which is nuts to me because, as I just said, we are forced to pay these people to make false statements about Charlie Kirk and to make false statements about the AfD and hate on the people that vote for the AfD, which is, in my opinion, the only opposition we have right now. And just to make it clear to you all, the ÖRR, the öffentlich-rechtliche Rundfunk, is there to work against propaganda. They've got neutrality commitment. They need, in fact, to be neutral, at least on paper. But they are not. In no way. So therefore, I think you get the gist. I think you know now where I'm coming from when I say we had also a lot to go through with the situation. And I think it's pretty sad. And I'm so full of anger and hate about the situation because Charlie Kirk didn't deserve it. He was not the holy grail, but he was also not a bad person. But they make him a fascist here, And for me, this is just so wrong. It's morally wrong on so many levels. Can you believe it? We are in a very bad situation. And if you ever ask yourself, why do Germans vote against themselves? It's because we have state-funded ultra media, big corporations kind of, that just dump down the people. To be quite frank, it's getting better and better, and the öffentlich-rechtliche Rundfunk is kind of like losing quotes by each year, and the younger generations don't even look them up anymore, But the situation right now is really bad, and I think you now get the gist, Therefore, I just want to say thank you for watching this video, and I hope you could understand what I'm saying, even if I grammatically was here and there a bit wrong, I guess. But I think the message was going through, and if you want to stay up to date and say you would like to see more of my videos, and you can just like, subscribe, and just show this video to your friends or whatever. It would be pretty nice. I mean, this here was just a try and to get some energy loose. As I just said, I just wanted to, get my soul out here. So to connect with y'all, to just give you a little bit of a glimpse about how we handle the situation here right now. I mean, I'm pretty based. I'm not a lefty, even if I look like that. And I'm also a gamer and stuff. So for the younger ones or the people my age, I think I'm a pretty nice person to hang around with. So thank you and bye.